everyone, it's Dr. Rick, and today's unboxing is on L-carnitine. This is a Now Foods product, it's liquid. L-carnitine is a good idea if you are a keto practitioner. So I am not in ketosis, but I received some samples and I thought I would give them at least a sniff. So L-carnitine, smells pretty good. Smells like lime. And the idea is 2 tablespoons is equal to 1,000 milligrams of L-carnitine. So if you're doing keto, so if you're a keto practitioner, you follow Joe Mercola's he is recently, not recently, but I don't remember him doing ketosis, but I think he practiced it, but he just put out this book after the big keto, after about 2018, late 2018, 2019, he became a big fanatic. These are the guys, Volek and Finney. These guys are awesome. They've been doing a well-formulated ketogenic diet for a long time. Volek also does a lot of athletes. They guide athletes, but now since they've been so experienced with this, they're actually giving it to everybody, giving guidance to everybody. There's a clinic in Indiana that they're taking care of, and they're doing great. So the idea of L-carnitine is this. I decided to put it out, but wait a minute. If this is the first time you're finding me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the alert button to find out when I do new videos. If you are a keto practitioner, we're going to talk about some of the basic science, but not go too deep. I don't like going too deep into basic science because it's interesting to me, but I think I lose a lot of people, and we don't have to get into details. But I want you to understand the basics so you understand why you're doing this. So those of you who are just trying to lose weight, you're probably doing keto for that. Those of you who are worried about Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, concussion, or problems with brain fog especially, some of you who have cardiomyopathy, I think this is great, or I shouldn't say this, but this is a great way to utilize your ketones, your beta-hydroxybutyrate, your ketogenic diet. So this is how it works. I might as well just show you this now. So this is a cell, and this is a cell wall. This is a nucleus where the DNA is kept, your coded messages. And this is a mitochondria. The mitochondria, if you don't know, is the powerhouse of the cell. And the powerhouse is responsible for making energy. Some, way back, some people think this is actually a microbe, a bacteria. The bacteria is self-sufficient, and we just ingested the bacteria somewhere when we were little protozoa, and we took it on and we kept it as part of our cell structure. It has its own DNA actually, which is really weird. So you have every cell that has its DNA, then you have the mitochondria that has its mitochondrial DNA. So that's like a cell within a cell. Anyway, this is the powerhouse. The powerhouse produces energy, the fuel that you need to keep on going, to take care of protein synthesis, to take care of fat metabolism, to take care of encoding genes. You can do that if you have fuel, and the only way to get fuel is an outside source. So this is a leaf because I'm a vegetarian, and this, I just put that as my glucose source. So this is your fuel. The fuel has to go through the cell wall, and once it gets through the cell wall, it gets here into the mitochondria, and the mitochondria partitions off where the fuel goes. So the only way to get into the cell is with insulin. This is the key. So insulin and glucose opens the door, gets into the cell, utilizes it, and the cell utilizes it, or I should say the mitochondria utilizes it to usually go through the Krebs cycle. So I put these complexes here that are responsible for getting glucose through. If the complexes are all stimulated properly, then fuel goes through and it gets in and turns into ATP through that door in the mitochondria. But in the case where you're a keto practitioner, the specific reason that you go through ketosis is you don't have to go through that. Number one, you don't need insulin, which is really nice because if you have nothing but fat, in your diet, you don't have glucose, you don't need insulin. You can go right through. Because this outer cell, this cell wall is made of fat, and fat allows fat to go through. So that's also the cool thing with the mitochondria. Remember, it's a cell within a cell. Well, if you take a lot of fat, especially long chain fats, there's long chain, medium chain, and short chain. But long chain fats can be used because they have the longest amount of energy. And just think of the chain as being chains of energy. Short chain, one energy. Let's just call it one energy block. Medium chain, 3 energy blocks. Long chain, 100 energy blocks. Think of it that way. I mean, I just simplified it, but when you get long chain fatty acids in the bloodstream, it gets through the cell wall, and then it gets transported through the mitochondria via L-carnitine. So this is a long chain fatty acid, big smiley fat person here, and it gets through this little channel. Now, glucose as a fuel source can't go through that channel. It's almost like a magnet. You can get in only if you're a long chain fat. And if you have L-carnitine, it allows it carries it through the hole. So that's what this stuff does, is if you're taking nothing but fat for fuel, like Joe Mercola says, it will carry it through the mitochondria so it will easily be absorbed and utilized and burned. So that's the beauty of that. But here's the other thing. So I think it's important. I would do it 2 to 3 times a day. I'd probably start at once a day, build up over 2 weeks, twice a day, and I'd probably just stop at that. I would also make sure that you're doing fat, because if you're just taking L-carnitine and you're doing nothing but glucose, you're wasting your time. I think you will have an inherent amount of fat that you make from your triglycerides or that the liver produces. So this will facilitate a little bit your own fat going in, but I would take advantage of it. So I have seen some people with fibromyalgia, brain fog, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. I've had a couple of my guys, very few, but two in particular that I put on L-carnitine, CoQ10, Hawthorne, and D-rib, in fact here. So I use, for them, I wanted the cells to rebuild really quick. So we put them, in addition to the neurology guy for the stroke victim, and then the cardiology guy for the cardiomyopathy guy, I can't put away my specialist, and thank God they saved them, but after they took care of their thing, it was my turn. Once they were stabilized and out of rehab for neuro and cardiac, is my turn to do my magic. And that's where we kind of manipulate diet, work on breath exercise, work on taking inflammation out of the diet, and then having other fuel sources. So that could be an issue. If you have a stroke or Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, your fuel source, and some would say that your mitochondria don't work. And if the mitochondria don't work and you keep on going with the same fuel source, you're going to not be able to utilize the cell. Some of the cells in the brain, there are astrocytes and glial cells. Glial cells are supposed to clean up all the scar tissue. And if the glial cells don't have energy, they're not going to do their job. So you'll have an abundance of inflammation. If the glial cells are on fire, they're working well because they have their fuel source, whether it's the old glucose if they're not damaged, or fat. If they are damaged, go through the back door. Use the fat as your fuel source, and you'll be able to heal up faster. But a lot of people don't really know what to do with ketogenic diet. That's why you have to get a nutritionist who knows how to do it, or you have to read a lot. I did a video on Quest MCT oil powder. I can't do the oil itself, but I do a little ketosis in the midst of a vegetarian diet, especially before my 5-day fast. I do a 5-day fast once a month. I'm probably going to, in 2020, back off to once every season, once every 3 months, but I'm never giving that up. It's gotten me to the point where I am just really cruising at a good level, knock on wood, and hopefully I can take advantage of it. But anyway, so I get into a little ketosis, maybe a beta-hydroxybutyrate at my best, with just this stuff at like 1.2. That's pretty decent. So anyway, this is one of the products I got at Fruitful Yield. This is, it's either Fruitful Yield or Whole Foods, I don't remember. I think it's Fruitful Yield. But MCT oil powder. And I put this in my low-fat, unsweetened flax milk. So this is a way you can do it if you just want to introduce a hint of ketosis to your body. You can also actually take ketones. So this is beta hydroxybutyrate. This is a walloping 11 grams, I believe. Yeah, 11 grams per scoop. That's a lot. The only problem is it doesn't have whether it's the D or L isomer of the beta hydroxybutyrate. So I don't know. I don't feel much with this, but the pills only are like 2 to 6. But you have to take 6 pills. It's like 1 to 2 per pill. It's a lot, and it goes by fast. Very expensive. This kind of cheap. It's super sweet. So I don't know if I can tolerate this, but I'm going to load this up until the point where I do my next fasting mimicking diet on November 23rd, because it puts me into that. Even if you don't do fasting mimicking diet, even if you're not on a well formulated ketogenic diet, I would still do this anyway. Well, no, I would do the MC2L powder. This I don't know. I'm just giving this a try for now. Otherwise, I use the capsules from Perfect Keto. Check out my video on that. And if you just have plain old brain fog while you're waiting for this thing to kick in, while you're waiting for the mitochondria to switch gears from a fatty diet to just very good utilization of fuel from glucose, I would do D-ribose. D-ribose is great for my fibromyalgia patients, my brain fog patients. About 5 grams a day, it's awesome. So this is sugar though. So if you're a keto practitioner, you're probably gonna break, and you might cause an insulin hit with this. I don't know. It is a sugar, but it works to stimulate the cell to work better, easier. So those of you who are just recovering from Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, stroke, cardiomyopathy, this is what I would suggest, in addition to a well-balanced diet and a little bit of exercise, a lot of lung exercise, and great sleep. Calming practice is very important. So there is a lot. There's also, I would also maximize on B12. So B12, I have methylated B12 in the form of Bluebonnet that I take, 5,000 micrograms. Or if I want a fast hit, I do this. If you want a fast hit, you can actually come to my office. We'll give you a B12 shot, but it only comes in cyanocobalamin. It doesn't come in methylcobalamin. So if you don't have a problem with cyano, come on in. Everybody that gets it always gets this energy burst. And I think it's because people with B12 in the system work better. The B12 works to have these complexes get the glucose or the fuel sources into the mitochondria faster. So this is a great book by Lee. I think that Lee No is a naturopath, and he has done a nice summary on how the mitochondria works and how it fails. I think with all our diseases that we're having today, the multiple exposures to crap that we get, much different. Even though you might eat the same looking plate as what your parents fed you, what I got fed in the 70s is totally different. I mean, the plate looks the same, the dish looks the same, but the food source is from totally different. The rice, who knows where it comes from nowadays? It's probably genetically modified. The beef is totally different, that's why I don't eat beef anymore. The fish is probably polluted with mercury or Fukushima's radiation, I don't know. But I'm just on a groove now at being a vegetarian at 57. I will probably change that over, I'm sure. Once I find that I'm reversing my age and hopefully getting my testosterone to work better, I will probably be able to indulge more. So anyway, so this whole series of last 3 and probably the next 3 videos will all be for longevity. I'm feeling great. I want everybody else to feel great, but it's not just one formula that gets you there. Everybody has to have their own formula. I just wanted to bring it up. This is one of my favorite nut butters. It's not really a nut, it's sunflower seed, but it's got, the only problem is it has 7 grams of carbohydrate. But if you were to ignore the carbohydrates, you would see 16 grams right there, 16 grams of fat. It does have a little bit on the protein, 7 grams of protein. So the 16 grams of fat would make this crap work better. But if you think about it, the 7 grams of protein and the 7 grams of carbohydrate would instill an insulin response. So even though I would be indulging in this, oh wait, and it does have sugar. 3 grams of added sugar. So the sugar is useless. It's just for palatability. I wish they didn't have it, but I don't know how it would taste without it. I'm pretty sure it would taste pretty decent, but I love the crunch of the sunflower seeds. I love the taste of the sunflower butter. If they could take the sugar out, I'd be very happy. But at this point in time, it's just, I add that as a teaspoon or two when I feel I deserve it. So that's my crave answer. So anyway, that is it. Hopefully you'll enjoy your use of L-carnitine. It also comes in capsules too. But if you have any comments on how this works, or if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas how it would work best for you, your brand, please scroll down way past all the videos below and put your comments down below. I'd like to hear about them. Otherwise, I'll see you at the next unboxing. Thanks for watching.